Good morning and welcome to the van. I wanted to take a minute and give you an update on what I've accomplished so far and what I have scheduled and what I'm in the middle of. Things are going really well since the last time you saw the inside of the van, but let me just kind of give you a quick tour of what I've done so far. Starting at the rear, I have the upper panels in place. These were already cut and drilled. That was super easy. There's insulation behind those. Same on this side. On the lower panels, the passenger side panel came with the cutout for the door handle, and then I had to drill the holes for the mounting. And I think that I'm okay with what I've got. I may end up putting in one more depending on whether it vibrates or not. And I do need to do a little bit of work on the handle. I had to lift it off of the door panel with some washers because the bamboo is thicker than the panel that was in place here. It's not quite seated correctly, so I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to handle that yet, but that's pending. Same thing with this side. It's mounted and in place, and I drilled the holes for the mounting. And these are insulated. There's Havelock wool in each of those panels. Panning around to the passenger side, I don't have a whole lot done here. I do have some wiring in place. This is going to service the passenger side cabinet light and then a USB port in the cabinet on the face here so that I can access from the outside. I have the lower panel in place and insulated, and I did end up cutting around the door frame brace. So this brace provides stability for the magnet door holder on the outside of the van. When you open this door completely, there's a magnet on the outside that holds it in place. That has a support that comes through the van and screws into this bracket, which in turn holds it in place and makes it stable so that you don't dent the outside of the van when you're opening the door. The sliding door is complete. You've seen this part already with the hanging rack and the door panel there. Those are both insulated as well. Moving up, we see that I have half of the ceiling done. I finished this off last night. Mostly, I still have to put some screws in, and I actually have some screw caps coming. If you know me, you know that I like to cover these things up and dress it up a little bit. So I have some brown screw caps coming to put these inside so that there's not a bunch of metal screws sticking down. And then I have to do this side still. I left this open because I'm working on the wiring, which you can see in the wall here. So the wiring splits. I had to drill some holes in the body panels. For whatever reason, that panel and this panel don't have any pass-throughs, so I had to create one. So I have a hole that goes into that cavity and a hole that goes into that cavity, and there's grommets on that, just like this. And so that wiring comes up and goes to service the light that will be in the ceiling right here. And then we also have the solar that's coming down. I rewired that into the panel, and it's down here on the floor. On the rear side, we have the wiring that comes up, and this will service the fantastic fan, which I have the wire run in preparation for that. That's not happening immediately, but it'll be there in place. And then the wiring continues on. It exits here for the under cabinet lighting, and also for the outside, the exterior light that's on the side of the van. And then there's also wiring coming down here, and this will be the USB port on this side by the bed. On the back side here, there's also going to be another wire that runs right into that and then back out again. In this wall panel, I will have a 12-volt socket mounted that the refrigerator will plug into. As far as things that still need to be done, I'm going to run some insulation into the cavity above the headliner. So I'll probably do that today. That's pretty easy, and I'm at the point where I could probably get that done and get it out of the way. I'm going to continue putting wire loom in some of these locations where it's inside the panel, inside the cavity. So I have one there that I need to protect. And that's just to keep it from banging up against any sharp corners or anything like that. Any of these penetrations, I have rubber grommets that I've drilled into place. And there's one coming out of there too. I don't know if you can see it. I have rubber grommets to protect the wiring as it comes through the channels. Same thing up here. I have little rubber grommets to protect the wiring as it comes out. ZenVanz has sent me some replacement panels. I was missing a couple in the original loading, so this panel and this panel are coming, and this one, and then that one needed to be recut. Newer models of this van include some additional trim up here at the bulkhead, and the panel that they created accounts for that, but I don't have that. So they're sending a panel that just fills the space completely. I wanted to get the wiring all in place so that I don't have to think about that later. And, you know, things are moving along really well. There's the galley. I've kind of put things in place based on where I think it might need to go. I haven't quite decided on the placement of the galley yet. The installation instructions tell you to butt the edge of this up against the bed frame, which would be somewhere right around here. I don't know, I might move it slightly to the right to center it on that panel, which will also give me some additional room, because right now the way that it overlaps, the refrigerator slide will bump into the toilet box, which lives right here. I've moved it out so that it's not in the way. But I'll have to figure that out. And then I can do that later. I'm not too concerned about that. But yeah, everything seems to be coming together in spectacular fashion. And that's today's update. I wanted to give you a quick overview of what I've gotten done so far and where I stand in the process. I'm not doing any tutorials or anything, because really a lot of what I'm doing is done on the fly, and it may not apply directly to your situation. And frankly, ZenVanz has a great installation video already, so I think it's more appropriate for me just to show you how I'm putting it together, and then I can talk about things in more detail later, some of the things that I had to accomplish or the things that I did differently or whatever. But I can go over those as more of an overview, and then once it's finished, I'll do a final walkthrough and just show you everything that's in here and how it works. So with that, I'm going to get back to work, and I will keep you updated. And until next time, as always, have a great day.